welcome to High Drama. Did we enjoy playing around with the shows we saw? Well, let's start with playing Shylock at the Polanski Shakespeare Center starring Saul Rubinek.
In playing Shylock, Saul Rubinek, dressed as Shylock, the moneylender of The Merchant of Venice, informs us that the production of the play has been canceled out of fear of offending the Jewish community in a time of increasing anti-Semitism. Rubinek wonders if there ever was a time where there wasn't increasing anti-Semitism. He also tells us that until recently, The Merchant of Venice was the essential Shakespeare play, and every actor wanted to play Shylock. Now, most of the time, Shylock is played by ethnicities other than Jewish. So Rubinek, who looks very Jewish and has a tradition of Jewish theater, his father was an actor, is sort of different from this current trend. He gives an impassioned presentation of the speech, "Hath not a Jew eyes? If you prick us, do we not bleed?" which actually humanizes the Jewish character much more than the nearly contemporary Marlowe's Jew of Malta, which is absolutely evil. This is a really interesting play. It's about Shylock. It's about Jewish identity. And I thought it was really interesting, but I missed a lot because he spoke so softly that some things got lost. But still, what I did understand and hear was quite wonderful. I'm giving it a happy face minus.
And I am going to address the elephant in the room. I kept thinking all the time I was watching this is this in response to the fact that John Douglas Thompson did Shylock last year, which was really just upset a lot of us Jews a lot. Because this is a quintessential, to me, Jewish story, and it needs to be told by a Jewish person. And I'm tired of people co-opting Jewish roles to show their universal appeal. I'm sorry, but we want our representation. We want our own appeal. And even though Shylock is an unappealing character, it rankles. But then Victor Gluck told me that this show has been touring around for a very long time. So it's just interesting that they found this play, and I think they're using it. To address the upset that they caused us last year. But I thought this was just such a charming play. It was so interesting because it's like it's a reflection on the part, and that doesn't get done enough. So yes, it's wonderful to see the whole play, but to actually discuss the significance of Shylock to the Jewish person, that to me was really interesting. And I'm sorry I forgot to use my headsets like I usually do, because you need them for this, because he does talk too softly, or his mic wasn't loud enough or something. But yeah, we did miss a lot, but it was so good. I really, really, it just spoke to me like you would not believe, and especially with everything going on right now, it was so important and so necessary. And Saul Rubinek is just, you just went choo-choo, choo-choo, choo-choo. And also, it was nice to hear about his father and his family history too, and all that, because it was just so layered and nuanced, and I loved it. And I'm giving it a happy face, -2 because of the listening problem.
Red Bull Theater is presenting Shakespeare's Richard II at the Astor Place Theater. It's adapted and directed by Craig Baldwin. This production begins with the king in prison, his position at the end of the play. This adds suspense and bonds us emotionally with him. We want to know how and why he is in prison, and we feel for his vulnerability. Richard's reign is beset with problems. He banishes the squabbling Bolingbroke and Mowbray, saving their lives but adding to their animosity. The taxes he levies for fighting with Irish rebels and others creates resentment and dissent in the populace. Bolingbroke will use this dissent to add to his power and his will to usurp. The production, as we expect from Red Bull, is gorgeous. The prison is a lovely glass box.
And it's designed by Arnulfo Maldonado.
The costumes, wigs, makeup, and dance moves suggest the 1980s, as does the use of Eurythmic Sweet Dreams.
Costumes are by Rodrigo Muñez. The wig and makeup designer is Bobby Zlotnick, and the fight director and intimacy coordinator is Rick Sordelay.
The clothes are even glitzier than those sported in Dallas and Dynasty. Richard's connection with his favorite O'Merrill is extremely sexual, and his queen seems to have a boy toy of her own. This all adds to the extreme pleasure afforded by this production. Some of the speeches are beautifully poetic. Both Richard and John of Gaunt extol their love for England. Richard muses on the deaths of kings. The Duchess of York and the Queen are among Shakespeare's strong-willed women, and they are masterfully performed by Catherine Meisel and Lux Pascal. Grantham Coleman as Bolingbroke and David Matter Merton as O'Merrill are compellingly enacted. But Michael Urie as the beleaguered king absolutely owns this show. Every speech is crystal clear, not always an easy feat in a Shakespeare production. And his full battery of gestures and facial expressions make this one of the most memorable performances that I can recall. In general, I don't care much for royal power struggles. Blame perhaps my American spirit of democracy. So the plot itself couldn't win me over. But this is truly an outstanding and astonishing production that you must see.
I totally agree with Mark here. I mean, a long time ago, they did this Shakespeare in the Park with Peter McNichols as Richard II, and I fell in love with the character. I fell in love with Peter McNichols. I fell in love with Richard II. I fell in love with his play. And any chance I get to see this play, I want to see it because of that incredible performance. And every time I'm disappointed. Ray Fiennes stunk. It was horrible. I'm like, it was boring and dreadful. But then along comes Michael Urie and Craig Baldwin's adaptation. And all of a sudden, it's like, yes, this is the Richard II I love. He humanizes Richard II. You fall in love with Richard II. You just, oh, you just want to hug him and save him. It's he just so he humanizes him so much, and he talks like a normal human being. Like you don't feel like you're watching a Shakespeare play, but and the cast is so dynamic around him. It was just so wonderfully done, and it brought back my love for this play. So anyone who's been disappointed in the past by the Richard II productions, has never seen a Richard II production, or wants to add it to their Shakespeare canon, really, you can't miss this. It is so perfect. I am giving this a major happy face.
Absolute happy face from me.
Here we are with Epic Players, who is now going to be putting on Dave Osmundson's Bum Bum, or This Farce Has Autism. And we've got the director, Meggan Dodd, to talk to us about this very funny sounding play. So tell us all about it.
It is hysterical. It is a very funny play. Basically, what it does is it turns stereotypes and assumptions about autism on their head. It's set during a live telethon to benefit a performing arts organization dedicated to uplifting autistic talent. The problem is that the three autistic performers are being pressured to deliver sanitized, palatable versions of their routine for a mainstream or a family audience. So, what this means is Lisa has been told to perform a little ballet instead of My Bum Bum, which is her burlesque routine. Sean has been told to tone down his usual comedy routine, which he broadcasts on YouTube, and which is ordinarily called bleeping autistic. I can't say the real word here. And Jason, who is situationally mute, has been admonished to be ever so grateful that he gets to perform with his ventriloquist dummy, Gil McGillicuddy. Needless to say, the performers are not happy and they push back against the neurotypical folks who, to begin with, are running the show. And add to this mix family drama, a celebrity pop star who's looking to revive her reputation after a very public wardrobe malfunction, and you can see that chaos ensues. So it blends farce, satire, social critique, and it's a hilarious takedown of how media and society package neurodivergence for mass consumption.
I know you're actually having your day right now because on Broadway last year I think was How to Dance in Ohio.
That's correct. That's correct. And one of our epic players actually was one of the stars in that.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
And the nice thing about going to a neurodivergent play is they take care of everybody. They make sure that everyone is feeling safe, and even if, like with me it's vertigo, and they tell me when all the flashing lights are, and they really look after you. So it's like, I think that's why I like going to epic players so much. I mean, Jan and I were just discussing, he saw Peter Pan, I saw Seussical, Little Shop of Horrors, Little Prince. I mean, they're just they're so good.
They are so good. Yes.
You're doing an original play now. I mean, it must have music in it if she's doing ballet.
Well, it has a burlesque routine. Yes, it does. Complete with a feather boa and everything else. But it's basically a farce. So I think that's the only music is the burlesque routine. And it's, as you say, it's a world premiere of a play written by Dave Osmondson, who is in fact an autistic playwright.
And New Victory, they have special performances just for autistic people, which is great.
Right.
My neighbor's kid all the time, and he had the best time of his life. So it's just,
Yeah.
there should be more companies not like Epic, quite frankly.
Yes, and one thing to point out is that this play is not uh, dumbed down in any way. It's not geared to what mass media thinks of as a neurodiverse audience. It's for everybody, and it's very hard hitting. It's very biting. It's quite explicit. So I wouldn't recommend it for children, actually. Probably 16 and up would be a good rule of thumb. Um, and the actors are absolutely wonderful. That's all I can say.
Play for grown-ups for a change.
Play for grown-ups. Yeah.
Even the non-divergent people have to suffer through some of these dreadful, confusing plays.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
A real honest to good old-fashioned farce play that basically is eye-opening and basically hits people over the head with, will you please treat us like normal people, because
Right.
idiots, not us.
Yes.
It reflects badly on the not for not realizing how to they should behave.
Exactly. And that actually is a major theme of this play because the three performers each have a relative who is trying to help them, but in a way that is actually squishing them. And so there, so there's definitely some journeys here, but it's all done within a comedy, within a farce. So perhaps it makes it easier for anybody to take a look at themselves.
And it's like, and it's got this great message that basically people are people.
That is the message. People are people, and if you're in a position to facilitate or help someone be their authentic selves, then that's a good thing to do.
Oh, this is going to be so good. I'm just really excited about this.
Yeah.
I have to wait till December.
Yes. So it's our opening night is December 5th, and we run through December 14th. And we're performing at Here, which is a absolutely lovely theater in Soho, right near Spring Street. So
We go there all the time. It's like one of our go-to theater spaces. So, um, anyway, so something to look forward to. And I mean, hopefully someone will see it and it will get moved to an even bigger venue and run forever.
that would be awesome. That would be awesome. And speaking of, you were saying getting hit over the head. This is a farce. So people do, in fact, get hit, maybe not over the head, but they get hit with a bottle, they get slammed with doors. This is a true farce.
Any pie throwing.
No, no pie throwing. There's no pie throwing, but there is a dumping of vodka out the window. That there is.
Thank you very much. Something to look forward to during for the holidays.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you.
Emily Breeze's adaptation of Jane Austen's Pride and Prejudice, called Are the Bennet Girls Okay?, is about the importance of marriage, society, propriety, and economy. Poor Mrs. Bennet is at her wit's end. How is she to marry all four of her daughters off, tend to a sick husband, and keep from losing their home to Mr. Collins, who is the closest male heir to Mr. Bennet? She is hoping that Lizzie will marry him, but Lizzie is too proud for such nonsense and would rather hang out with her BFF Charlotte. Jane is setting her cap for Bingley. Lydia chases after anyone. Kitty puts up with her sister and mom's shenanigans, and poor Mary is basically ignored as she always has migraines and likes to sing and play the piano, which annoys everyone. Darcy and Lizzie spar with each other. Darcy's sister Georgina isn't liked by the Bennet sisters, and she's busy pursuing Wickham, who is rather dastardly. Basically, people are either chasing after people or avoiding them in a very entertaining manner. Will everyone get their just desserts, or at least some cheese? I was particularly impressed with Eduardo Benzoni, who played all the men parts from Bingley, Darcy, Wickham, Mr. Collins, and even Mr. Bennet, giving each character distinctive mannerisms, and the rest of the cast were just delightful and perfect and wonderful. Bedlam always puts on such a good show that finds hidden treasures in the classics, as this was expertly directed by Eric Tucker, and this gets a major happy face.
Anil Kambay-Deely's Hard Love is a quick-footed play, a wrestling match between two characters where the power dynamics are clear, and then suddenly they are not. The play takes course over the evening of what initially seems to be a clear-cut one-night stand, but devolves into something else entirely as each character pushes the other outside of the bounds in which they've placed themselves. Baideely sets up an unconventional dynamic between the only two characters on stage. Chi-Chi shoulders the more stereotypically masculine energy, asking to be choked during sex, wanting intensity with a lack of intimacy, and scoffs at Theodore when he can't deliver these things. She doesn't show her cards until close to the end of the play when she reveals what underlies her steely exterior. Theodore, on the other hand, is desperate to be what she wants, but can't fight against his craving for intimacy, for safety, and gentleness in sex. He, unlike Chi-Chi, makes his desires and intentions clear from the beginning and throughout the play. While the reversal of gender stereotypes is always intriguing, the commentary that the play makes on it doesn't necessarily hold any new revelations that haven't already been made by art from the last 30 years. A direction that could have been followed further is the meaning of sex for immigrants in America, specifically women. Director G. Dumont created a moment that really grabbed my attention. Sex often feels cheap on stage. Actors act like actors they've seen act out sex. In reality, sex is dirty and vulnerable and ugly, but both the discomfort of artists and audiences has turned sex into this polished and goofy sort of dance on stage. In the first two sex scenes, the two actors stood at opposite ends of the stage facing the audience. Dumont choreographed sexually evocative sequences for each actor that were complementary to show how the actors were moving with each other. Was there nuance to these two characters during these scenes? Not really. The sex only confirmed what the dialogue had already revealed. But the performative seduction and obvious guardedness worked because of the kind of sex being had. The payoff was awarded during the final sex scene. A lovely ending, in my opinion. Mixed face.
Nazareth Hassan's practice at Playwrights Horizon is how far actors will go to commit to the director. Asa Leon auditions the actors Ro, Mel, Keon, Angelique, Rinny, and Tristan to create from their own demons an experimental play. He has his husband Walton Rhodes to finance it and Danny to record everything the actors say while they're rehearsing. This is a testament to how far actors will put up with for their chance to be on the world stage, and for the audience, it is to see how much we will put up with to sit through 2 hours of torture for us and the characters before we get a bathroom break and have to come back for another hour to see their wretched performance that they have finally come up with. Can you tell I hated this? I felt for the actors who were all excellent in portraying their various flawed characters, but I bet they were secretly traumatized having to live through their worst acting experiences. Watching this made me glad I wasn't an actor anymore. For those who are into Artaud's theater of cruelty and seeing actors turned into a cult, then by all means go see this. I'm talking to you, Mark, who loves pretentious crap like this. I just realized it was like seeing Evo Van Hove or Jamie Lloyd in action. No wonder I hated it. But for those who love those directors, you will love this. This gets an extremely unhappy face.
Other is the name of a poignant show by the Tony Award winner Ariel Stackel, which you can catch in a limited run at Greenwich House Theatre through December 6th. It's a funny and heartfelt story of an actor with multiple ambiguous ethnicities who battles anxiety. In fact, one of the many characters Ariel portrays and Tony Tacone directs in this show is the inner anxiety voice, who has been named Meredith after the mean stepmother in The Parent Trap. Certainly, you don't need to feel like an outsider in any context to connect with the moving story. However, who has never ever asked themselves, which identity box do I check? We begin under the spotlights at the 2018 Tony Awards, where Ariel has just been awarded the featured actor in the musical for The Band's Visit, the stage adaptation of a powerful film about Israelis and Egyptians. It may be surprising to see Ariel spend the rest of the evening running to the bathroom to wipe the sweat from his face. Do even successful performers live with such anxiety? To answer this, we're invited into Ariel's childhood therapy sessions, his frequent change of schools, and his unique family life. His mother, an Ashkenazi Jew, divorced his father, a Yemenite Jew, when Ariel was young. As with many people who grew up after the 9/11 terrorist attack, Ariel tells us that his schoolmates noticed his brown-skinned father and decided to shun the family. This led to Ariel not inviting friends home and finding reasons not to have his father come to his graduations. Yes, Ariel changes schools frequently and finds surprising ways to fit in. Eventually, he studies theater at New York University, where method acting professors ask him to tell stories about his life. Finally, he confronts his past, but with much sweating and reliance on alcohol, marijuana, and anything that dulls reality. I am in awe of the vulnerability and introspection in this solo show. Tony Tacone's direction of these dozens of voices amazingly guides Ariel through this extremely sincere journey.
I totally agree. This was fascinating because in The Band's Visit, he played the self-assured, suave ladies' man, and you have no idea what is going on in a real person's life. So this was like, wow, because sometimes you kind of think of them as the characters they play. And this just gave him a whole new dimension. And the way he dealt with it and how he figured out and tried to fit in was fascinating as well. So, and he's such a wonderful performer that despite all of his sweating, it's like Jonathan Groff has a spitting issue when he does his thing, and he has a sweating issue. And it was interesting because I was just saw Mandy Patinkin, and I know he has a sweating issue too. So it made me wonder, gosh, does he have anxiety as well? So this is great for people with mental health issues to see, look, you can overcome them. You can find a way to manipulate and defeat them. Go away, Meredith. We got your back. So yes, this gets a major happy face from me.
I give it a big happy face.
At MTC is Martina Majok's Queens, directed by Trip Cullman. It is a very confusing play about a variety of women immigrants living in an illegal basement apartment in Queens, New York City, who work to create a better life for their children. Scenes take place multiple years to add to the confusion. They realize money is very important and not easy to come by. The actresses are all very talented. The difficult plight of immigrants seeking to live the American dreams is always an important theme, but here it is too cryptically presented in this play, and Mark and I agree and give it a mixed, confused face. Our next show is December 13th, so have a happy Hanukkah. Down for the Count is an inventive concert celebrating Broadway's greatest hits by the numbers, starring Broadway's Ramona Mallory in the Green Room November 29th at 9:30. The New Victory is back with Mario the Maker Magician 2.0 till November 30th, and Circus Oz is coming with Merry Mayhem from December 5th to the 28th. The Public Theater has A Seat of Our Pants, a musical version of Skin of Our Teeth, going on December 7th, a 5-hour play called Initiative going on December 7th. Closing from December 4th to the 6th is the Laramie Project at the Audible Theater at Minetta Lane, and closing December 7th, For All Your Life, a dance piece, opens December 3rd at BAM. Closing December 14th is Laowang, a Chinatown King Lear at 59 East 59th Street. The Faggots and Their Friends, Between Revolutions at the Park Armory. Reunions at New York City Center. Art of Leaving at the Signature. Diversions at the Barrow Group. Meet the Cartozians at Second Stage. And always go check out Soho Playhouse, Joe's Pub, 54 Below, here La Mama and 92 NY, because they always have great stuff. And this is just a smattering of things going on.